session. So tell me what we have covered in the last session, yesterday's session. Anyone?
Types of analytics. That is,
Okay. What is the analysis and what is the analytics that we have covered in the last session, right?
yes,
Then we have seen the difference between the analytics and analysis. We have seen what are the different types of it, like descriptive, diagnostics, then your predictive, perspective, right? Sorry, prescriptive. And there is a one more that is called as a cognitive. Then even we have already seen what are the different types of data. So normally data gets classified into how many types? Can anyone tell me? Data gets classified into how many types?
Ma'am, two types, qualitative and quantitative.
Qualitative and quantitative, correctly. And then within that you have the different so many types. What are those? What are those? In qualitative and quantitative, tell me. One, in qualitative you have a nominal data where order doesn't matter, and there is a ordinal where the order matters. And in quantitative you have a discrete data and there is something called as a continuous data, right? So these are the different types with the examples and everything we have already studied in the yesterday's session. Moving towards the next point for today's session, let's try to understand what is the data analytics process. Okay, so first is ask the business question for what you need to perform the analysis. Okay, so first you need to understand what is the business question. Based on that, you need to collect the data. Once you collected the data, then do the EDA on the data, that is called as the exploratory data analysis. Then prepare your data, okay, analyze the data and present the findings. Okay, so just draw this diagram, all of you, then we will see all these things in more detail. Okay, do it, all of you, draw this diagram. I'm waiting. Once you have done with the diagram, let me know. Someone wants to enter, let me just take that person in. Why you people don't join on a time? Okay, done with this diagram, all of you? See,
Yes,
people
ma'am.
are again coming. प्लीज ज्वाइन करो ना टाइम पे. क्या टाइमिंग है सेशन का? Okay, can I go to the next point? Yes, tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay, fine. So let's start with what exactly the first one is. First point is define the objectives and the questions. Okay, this is a very important step, okay, wherein we are actually going to define the objectives and formulate the clear specific questions that your analysis aims to answer. Okay, this step is very crucial, okay, as it sets the direction for the entire process. If your business question is wrong, then your entire things are wrong. You will not be able to go in a right direction. Okay, so suppose my question is that I wanted to go for churn analysis, like why people are leaving the company, what is the reason. So I need to define the problem very clearly, and based on that only I will perform the complete analysis, right? It involves understanding the problem or situation at heart, or at hand and identify the data needed to address it. So if I wanted to see why people are leaving the company, say, so then whatever the data that is required to answer this particular question, I will go for that, and defines the metrics or indicators to measure the outcome. So the first step is define the objectives and the questions very clearly. Now, once you define that, obviously, what will be the next step? To collect the data that is required. Okay, a relevant data. It should not be like that. Whatever the data is there, I will take entire data. So whatever the data which is required, which is necessary, I will try to collect that data. Okay, so once the objectives and the questions are defined, the next step is to collect the relevant data. And this can be done through the various methods such as surveys, interviews, observations, or extracting from the existing databases. Okay, so the data collected can be quantitative or can be qualitative, or it can be depends on what kind of a problem that you are solving. So take the relevant data. These steps are very important. It's not like that directly I will start working on the analysis process. So what is, for what you are doing the analysis? Okay, what is the data that you are collecting? That is very important. Once you have done with that, then the third step will be data cleaning. So data cleaning, also known as a data cleansing, and it's very crucial step in the data analysis process. So clean the data, reprocess the data, check for any errors, any data type mismatch or inconsistencies are there, and you need to remove all those things. And this steps ensures the quality and the reliability of your data. Okay, this is very important, because if your data, as we have already told you, if your data is not clean, whatever that you are performing will not be the correct one. And once you have done with that, then next step comes is the data analysis. So once the data is clean, it's a time for the actual analysis. And this involves applying the statistical or mathematical techniques to the data to discover the patterns, the relationships, or the trends among those. Okay, so data analysis is what exactly? Try to extract the patterns. Trends क्या है? You know that nowadays there are n number of trends आते हैं, मतलब what we can say fashion में नए trends आते रहते हैं. So what exactly the trends are? So can I say trends, the patterns, the relationship between the data is all about nothing but the analysis that you are performing on the data, right? Are you agree with this, everyone? So there are various tools and the softwares which are available for this purpose. Like you have a Python, you have a R, you have a Excel, you have a specialized software like SPSS, SAS. So there are n number of techniques are there through which actually you can do the data analysis. And once the data analysis is done, then comes the data interpretation and the visualization. So after the data is analyzed, कि मेरा data analysis हो गया, the next step is to interpret the results and visualize them in a way that is easy to understand. Okay, visualize करो. How you will visualize? There are again a number of tools are there, like Google Charts are there. You have a what we can say Power BI is there. There is a Tableau is there. So n number of tools which are basically there for the same, right? Just a minute. Huh? Okay. Then there is a data storytelling. Okay. So this is the final step in the data analysis process. Okay. That is the data storytelling, complete story, which involves presenting the findings of the analysis in a narrative form that is engaging and easy to understand. Okay. And data storytelling is very crucial for communicating the results to the non-technical person. Like in Tableau, we have a concept called as the storyboards. Okay, in Tableau, we have a concept called as a storyboard. Okay, so using that storyboard, uh, we will actually tell the story. Just say I'll show you when we will go for what we can say this टैब्लू जब भी हम लोग सीखेंगे तभी मैंने कोविड का स्टोरी बोर्ड बनाया है. So story board is like a complete story of the COVID analysis we are presenting. Okay, so that is basically, and this can be you can present it to any people, any person who is even the non-technical background. Okay, so that is basically called as a data storytelling. So if you look at the steps again, define the problem, collect the data, clean the data, perform the analysis on the data, interpret and visualize your data, and finally go for the actual presenting or storytelling of this. Okay, so this is how the entire what we can say the analysis is performed. So when we'll actually start with this what we can say a data visualization and everything, you will come to know कि ये कैसे बनता है पूरा up to storytelling, how we are going to come up to the storytelling. तो पूरा एक प्रोजेक्ट हम लोग उसके ऊपर करने वाले हैं. Fine everyone, are you with me so far? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. सबको समझ में आ रहा है ना? मतलब फास्ट नहीं हो रहा है ना?
Yes, ma'am, आ रहा है.
आ रहा है ना? Okay. So let's go for the different file formats. So क्या क्या टाइप्स के फाइल फॉर्मेट्स नॉर्मली होते हैं? Okay, some of them are very easy for us to understand. Some of them we need to check. So सबसे पहले आता है text file format. Okay, so these formats stores the data as a plain text and which can be read and editable using any text editor. So which are those formats? You have a txt, .txt, .csv, that is a comma separated values. Okay, that is also your text file only. JSON format .json, which is a JavaScript object notation file, which is very lightweight, human readable, and it has a key value kind of a pair. You have a XML format, that is a extensible markup language file format. So all these are the formats which are basically the text file format. So all of you just write down, or ye pointers note karna, write down different file formats. Write down different file formats. In that, write down the first one is text file format. Text file format. In that, write down डॉट ये पॉइंटर्स लिखना, उसके अंदर का टेक्स्ट मत लिखना. .txt, .csv, .json and .xml. Just write it down this. Once done, let me know.
Okay, ma'am.
Done?
Done.
Okay. Now next one is a spreadsheet file format. Okay. Now what comes into the spreadsheet? Spreadsheet is nothing but normally it's a grid style like a Excel. Normally you know it, or rows on the columns we say. Okay. So there are two commonly used data analysis and accounting format. One is a .xls or XLSX. Okay. This is which is nothing but the Microsoft file format. Okay. And then another one is called as a open document spreadsheet format, .ods format. So just write down all of you. Second type of file format is spreadsheet file format. Spreadsheet file format. Spreadsheet file format. Write down .xls or .xlsx. And the next one is open document spreadsheet. That is a .ods. Open document spreadsheet. Open document spreadsheet.
Ma'am, can you show the previous slide once?
This one. I'm going to share this today only, so don't worry about it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Done with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Next, go to the third type of file format is a database file format. Okay, so all the database related. So .sql, SQLite, Access Database like .mdb or ACCDB. Okay, all these are the database file formats. Okay, so wherein you are actually going to extract the data from the databases. So write down database file formats. Database file formats. First is .sql. Next is SQLite and Access Database. Like n number of formats are there. आपका Oracle का रहेगा, DB2 का रहेगा. Whatever the number of databases that you have, you will have all those file formats, right?
Done, ma'am.
Done?
Done, ma'am.
Fourth one is image file formats. Okay. Now, before I go for this, can anyone tell me why we require the image formats also to analyze the data? Obviously, we are going to understand the photos and the graphics also, no? Right? Agree? Yeah. So there is a JPG, there is a PNG, there is a GIF, there is a TIFF, like that n number of file formats, which are nothing but the image file formats are there. So just write down image file formats. Image file formats. Write down JPG. You know, can you see, you can view on the screen, no? Yes or no? दिख रहा है ना सबको?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Just write it down those, so I'll not dictate it.
Done, ma'am.
Done? Good. Can I go to the next point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Fifth one is called as a audio file formats. Okay, like these formats store the sound recording and the musics. Okay, and they can be either compressed or uncompressed. Okay, file audio. So even we need to understand like speech analysis करना है आपको. Okay, or whatever it is. So this is called as a audio file format. So you know MP3, there is a wave. Okay. Then there is a ACC and there is a FLAC. All these are the different file form, audio file formats. Write down. Fifth one is audio file formats. Audio file formats.
Done, ma'am.
Done? Everyone has done, or should I wait?
Done, ma'am.
Done. Sixth one is called as a video file format. Okay. So again, MP3, AVI, okay, MKV format is there and MOV format is there. Okay, write down. So all these are the different file formats. So explanation I have already given. So if we go for MP4, it is widely used video formats. Okay. That uses very loosely compressed and supports high quality videos and audios. Okay. AVI is again a video format developed from the Microsoft, and it supports the multiple video and audio codes and provides a good quality. Okay, but it takes file tends to be larger compared to the MP4. Okay, then MKV is again a flexible and open source video format that supports the multiple video, audio, and subtitle tracks also in a single file, right? And there is a MOV, which is again a video format developed by the Apple, okay? And it is commonly used for storing the video files on the Apple devices, okay? So just write down these file formats. Once done, let me know.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Done. Okay. Then seventh one is basically called as a document file formats. So you have a PDF, you have a doc, you have a PowerPoint. Okay, these are the self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go for. So write down 7th one is the document file formats. Document file formats. PDF, Word, and PowerPoint. Done?
Just a second, ma'am.
Yes, I'm waiting.
Done, ma'am.
Done. Good. So can I go to the next point?
Wait a second, ma'am.
So we are just discussing the file formats, right now. So we should be aware key when we are actually doing the data analysis, which are the different file formats available, right?
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Good. Now, 8.1 are called as the archive for file formats. Like you have a zip, you have a rar, you have a tar, okay? Tar .gz, tgz, all these are basically the different archive file formats. Write down archive file formats. Archive file formats. Zip, rar, and tar. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, let's try to understand. We have already seen what are the different file formats are there. But normally, when we are talking about the data analytics, which of the file formats are normally used? Okay, so no need to write it down. Just listen now. So the first one is called as a text file format. And when we are talking about the text file format, CSV is very much in use. Okay, so it is one of the most commonly used file format for the data analytics. It stores the data in a tabular form, okay, as a plain text, and it is easily imported into most of the data analysis tools and softwares, like as a Excel or Python or R or SQL. Anywhere the CSV is very much easily imported, okay, which is very simple, lightweight, human readable, and easy to create and manipulate. And that is why we normally go for the .csv format, okay. That is common use cases like importing, exporting data between the databases or a spreadsheet software, or cleaning or pre-processing the data. For all these things, basically the CSV is used. Talking about another very important file format, which is very much famous in case of the data analytics, is called as a JSON file format, okay. So again, it is widely used for data interchange between the applications, especially in the web development and the APIs, okay. And it is used in the data analytics when dealing with the semi-structured data. Remember one thing, there are three types of data. Normally, we say structured data, we say unstructured data, and in between there is something called as a semi-structured data. So this is very important. So whenever you are having a semi-structured data, or we say hierarchical data structure is there, in that case, JSON file format is very much in use, right? Again, it is very lightweight, human readable, and easy to parse. by the most programming languages. Okay. Common use cases, you can see it can store and exchange the data in the web applications. So those who know or they are aware of how to build basically the any web applications or anything. So in that case, normally we go for this file format. Okay. Next is TXT. As we know, TXT is again. Just a minute, someone wants to enter. Wait. Is there anyone who wants to enter? No, no. So when you're talking about the TXT, files are often used for storing the unstructured or semi-structured. Who is there? Is this person from our class only, Mayur? Mayur,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
both of them? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the time to join you people? Both of you, those who have joined just now. Huh? Is this a time?
11:15.
फिर कभी ज्वाइन हुए हो आप? Give me a minute. Huh? Okay. So when you're talking about a text format, it's again very useful because it is again a semi-structured. It is very simple to create and edit and widely compatible with the various tools and the system. So common use cases कहाँ पे use होता है? Reading the raw data from the log files. आपके लॉग होते हैं ना, डेटाबेस लॉग या सिस्टम नेटवर्क लॉग्स और व्हाटएवर इट इज, और मे बी स्टोरिंग द टेक्स्ट बेस्ड डेटा or simple data recording. In all such cases, we basically go for the .txt file. Coming to the spreadsheet formats, okay, what are the different spreadsheet formats are there? XLS, we know again it is very easy and medium size data set, and advantages is very user friendly, and where it can be used for data entry or storing or EDA or reporting, sharing the data with the non-technical stakeholders, we normally go for the Excel file format. Then you have another one which we have already discussed. It is called as a open document spreadsheet. Okay. Okay. So open document spreadsheet is basically similar to the Excel, but more often used in the open source environment or with the softwares like Office or maybe Open Office. Okay. Advantages: open standard format is there, compatible with various spreadsheet applications, similar functionalities to Excel only, and to store and analyze the data in the open source environment, normally we go for something like this. Okay, that is a open document spreadsheet format. Coming to the database format, again SQL and SQLites are useful, and both the formats I can say are useful when we are trying to extract the data from the databases. Okay, like whenever I wanted to perform some ETL process or some querying to the databases, or I wanted to perform the data analysis on the local machine itself where the data is stored. In such cases, normally we go for the database file formats, right? Or these two formats. Coming to the document file format, the one is a paraquet file. Now, what is this Paraquet file? Is a columnar storage file format. Now, when in the SEM 3, you are going to study something called as the NoSQL databases. So, one of the NoSQL database is called as a columnar database. And the file format for the columnar database is called as a Paraquet file format. Okay. So, these formats are very much optimized for the big data processing frameworks. So huge data is there, big data is there, like Apache Hadoop, Apache Spark, or Amazon Athena. In all such cases, we use the Paraquet file format. Okay. And what are the common uses? Big data processing, cloud storage, and querying like AWS, Google Cloud, or whatever it is. Then you have another is Avro file format, which is a binary data serialization file format. And where it is used, normally it is used for streaming data streaming, or maybe big data pipelines, or where the data serialization and deserialization is required. Can anyone tell me what is the data serialization and deserialization?
Maybe the sequence data and not sequence data.
Ma'am, it can be means I don't know. It may be that structured data and unstructured.
No, not structured or unstructured data. It is not structured or unstructured data.
Then
Serialized. Can I say videos are serialized? Videos are serialized.
Ma'am,
Tell me. Bolo.
ma'am, it's maybe in a line.
सीरियली मीन्स आप मुझे बोलो, अगर वीडियो लेते हो तो वो सिक्वेंशियल सीरियलाइज डेटा है ना, ऑडियो सिक्वेंशियल सीरियलाइज डेटा है, टेक्स्ट सिक्वेंशियल सीरियलाइज डेटा है, कहां पे भी कुछ भी डालोगे तो चलेगा क्या? विल इट वर्क? नो ना. So
No,
this
ma'am.
is basically called
No,
as
ma'am.
a AVRO dataset. So wherever you require the serialization and deserialization, this document file formats are very much useful, right? Then there is a RC is also there. It is called as a optimized row columnar data, ORC we say it. So again, this is a NoSQL columnar storage only, and it is good for like data warehousing, big data analytics, cloud storage, and everything. So remember one thing, when you have a small data, so previous file formats before this, whatever that we have seen was okay. But when you are talking about the big data or maybe data warehouse concepts, then these file formats are very much important. Okay. Archive, as we know, zip files are there. Okay. So these are the different file formats normally used for the data analytics, right? Are you with me so far, everyone?
yes,
Up to
ma'am.
this pointer?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Now we have talked about so much things about the data analytics and the types of data, the complete process of data, the different file formats and everything. But the very important thing is, I will do the analysis on the data, but from where the data will come? What are the different sources for my data? So the first type of the source is called as a preliminary data sources. So what comes into the preliminary data sources? So the first one which comes into the preliminary data sources, just give me a minute. The first thing which comes into the preliminary data sources is called as a surveys and questionnaires. Can anyone tell me what is a surveys and questionnaires? You go and you survey it, you form the questionnaires and take the data, right, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
what is a challenge in this case? Very time consuming, costly. Okay,
Yes.
you need to avoid the biases into this, because you are going to go into the field and then you are going to take a survey out of it. Then you form the questionnaire. So your questionnaire should also be correct one. Then only you will be able to take the correct data, right? Then the next form is called as the interviews. So like direct face-to-face or virtual conversations with the individuals or the group to collect the, we can say, qualitative data. Example is subject matter expert से आप data collect कर रहे हो या focus on the discussions. But again, it is time consuming. And what you require is a proper skill, interview skills. क्योंकि अगर आपने questions ही गलत पूछे उसको, तो आपको जो भी data मिलने वाला है वो भी गलत होगा. Am I right, all of you? Okay. So write down the data sources. The first one, write down primary data sources. Write down data sources. Data sources. In the first one, write down primary data sources. And in primary data sources, write down surveys and questionnaires. And the next one, write down interviews. Surveys and questionnaires. Next one, write down interviews. Next one, write down interviews. Done?
Yes,
Done,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Next, in the primary data source only, it's called as the observations. So you collect the data from observations in the natural environment without even the interaction. Example like observing the consumer behavior in the retail store, tracking the user's interactions on the website. Okay, just the observations. And it provides the real world data and minimizes the respondent bias also. But the challenging part over here is can be subjective, requires careful planning to avoid the observer bias and limited to the observer behavior. Okay, so that is a challenge. So next one, write down observations. Next one, write down observations. Observations. Then write down experiments. So you do the experiments in the controlled environment using something called as a hypothesis. So आप बोलोगे कि like say digital marketing या clinical trials करोगे, आप बहुत सारे experiments करोगे, and from that experiments you will collect the data. But again, it is time consuming and very expensive. So write down the another primary source of the data is the experiments. Is the experiments. Done?
Done, ma'am.
Done. Then coming to the secondary data sources. So secondary data sources are something like which are already there, collected, processed, and published by some others. So we are not actually going to create it like by taking the interviews or by going for the questionnaires or observations or something. Something which has already been there, okay? And we need to just collect it. So what is that? Can I say government publications and report can be the one thing? Am I right? Example like census data is there, economics reports are there, health statistics is there, crime reports are there. So all these you will get it from some official websites. But the problem over here is, what if it is not updated frequently or it is very complex to interpret because you don't have anyone who will explain you what exactly it is, na? Correct, all of you? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So write down secondary data sources. Secondary data sources. In that first one, write down government publications and reports. Government publications and reports. Government publications and reports. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Next one is academic and research institutions. Like you have a scientific study, social science research, industry reports. Okay. So there are some academic journals, research papers are there through which you will get the data. Okay. So write down academic and research institutions. So in this, all these cases, secondary data sources, data is already there. Only we need to connect and we need to get it. That's it. But obviously for this you required a subscriptions or data may not be easily applicable to the different contexts, right? Third one is called as a commercial data providers. So there are already some companies which will collect the data and sell the data as well. Okay, like you have a market research firms are there, financial data providers are there, social media data aggregators are there. Okay, all these will collect the data and even they will sell the data, right? But it will be very expensive because they are going to sell the data. That means you have to pay for it. Okay, so write down commercial data providers. Once this is done, let me know. Commercial data providers. Commercial data providers. Done?
One second, ma'am.
Yes, I'm waiting.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Then there are open data sources as well, okay, which are publicly available data sets, okay, maybe released by some organizations or governments, but you don't need to pay for this. Like World Bank data set is there, OpenStreetMap data set is there, public health data repositories are there, okay, through which you will get the data, but challenges may not be complete, regularly updated, and there are n number of formats in which you have the data. So data cleaning and pre-processing will be very tedious task in such cases. So write down open data sources. Open data sources. Open data sources. Done? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Then the third type is the internal data sources. Data which are from the organization, within the organization, okay, which are not easily available to everyone, but it will be used for internal analysis for the organization, or maybe some decision making, or maybe for the strategic development. So which are the internal data sources? Write down the third one is the internal data sources. So first is the sales and the transaction data. So all the transaction, maybe sales receipt, order history, consumer payment records. So all these are basically the internal data sources. So write down third one, internal data sources. Third one, internal data sources. In that, first one, write down sales and transactional data. Sales and transactional data. Sales and transactional data. Next, write down customer relationship management systems, CRM data. Example like Salesforce or HubSpot, Microsoft Dynamics CRM, all the data related to the customer behavior, their preferences, their feedback. Okay, those are the customer relationship management system, CRM data. CRM data.
So CRM.
Hello.
So CRM, employee management.
Yes. That is also there. So all the CRM data. Different tools are there for collecting the data, obviously. Done?
Done, ma'am.
Done? Good. Then ERP data, as you know, ERP data, like SAP is there, Oracle ERP is there. There is a Microsoft Dynamics 365 is there, okay, or ERP data, which is in some different complex formats and requires a significant investment also. ERPs are too costly. Then the next is the web analytics and the digital marketing platforms like Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics is there. Social media analytic tools are there from which also we will get the data. But the challenge is the data privacy and the security concerns over here. Okay. So just write down enterprise resource ERP data and web analytics and digital marketing data. Just give me a minute. I'll come. Till that point, you just write it. Yes. Have you done with this? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Now, fourth one is called as a external data sources. Internal is within the organization. External data that is obtained from outside the organization and can provide the additional context or insights that complement the internal data. So it can be used by the organization only, but which is not generated from or from within the organization. It is totally from outside the organization. So which are those data? First is the social media platforms. Okay, so data collected from social media platforms like user behavior, preferences, or trends, so that can be useful for me to launch any particular data. I'll take the Twitter data or maybe Facebook user engagement data or Instagram analytics, okay, for doing this. But again, whenever you are talking about the social media data, the data privacy is the biggest concern, okay. Then next you have the third party data providers. Okay. So what do you mean by third party data providers? Companies that collect and again sell the data. Okay. Like there is a Nelson is there, Gartner is there. Gartner is very important. There is a Forrester is there. Okay. So n number of companies are there. But obviously this data is very expensive. So just write down the fourth one, that is the external data sources. Fourth one is called as a external data sources. External data sources. And within that, just write down. First one, social media platforms. Social media platforms. Next is third party data providers.
Ma'am,
Huh.
ma'am, external data source also includes internal data source.
It is can be used with the internal data source. It can be used with the internal data source.
Okay.
Okay. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So social media platforms, then third party data providers, then web scraping. This is very important. Web scraping, those who know about it, it is basically automated process for extracting the data from the websites. Okay, but obviously website should allow us to scrap the data. So we will take the data directly from the websites. There are obviously some APIs and everything through which we'll try to collect the data from the websites. Okay, so again, legal and ethical concerns are there. It should not be like that you are using any data from the websites and that you are using it. Okay, so that should not happen in this case. So write down web scraping.
मैम
Tell
हेलो
me.
मैम आप जरा पीछे जा सकते हैं मैंने लिखा नहीं है
Write down. So fourth is external data sources. In that first one, social media platforms. First one is social media platforms. Social
ma'am.
media. Okay. Next is third party data providers. Likha.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Web scraping. Done. Okay. Now these are the different data sources. So अभी हम लोग ने क्या देखा? Still now हम लोग ने देखा कि पूरा वेब एनालिटिक्स का प्रोसेस कैसा होता है. फिर हम लोग ने देखा क्या क्या फाइल फॉर्मेट्स है. Among those, which file formats are very important or useful for performing the data analysis. Then we have seen what are the different types of data sources from which we can take the data. So first one is what? Primary data source, secondary data source, internal data sources, and external data sources. Now, once you have taken this data, now the next and very important point comes is where you are going to store this data. So normally we say we are going to store the data into data repository. So what exactly it is? A data repository is a centralized place where data is stored and managed. Okay. It serves as a hub for the data collection, storage, management, and retrieval. So it is a very critical component in the data management and the analytics. क्योंकि आप डेटा ले तो रहे हो, इतने फाइल फॉर्मेट से डेटा ले रहे हो, इतने डिफरेंट सोर्सेस से यू आर टेकिंग द डेटा, बट वेयर यू आर गोइंग टू स्टोर द डेटा, सो डेटा गेट स्टोर्ड इनटू द रिपोजिटरी because it stores or provides a structured way to organize and maintain the data, which is very easy for accessing, reporting, and decision making. So, what are the characteristics of the data repository? So, it is a centralized storage we are saying right now. So, what is the characteristics? So, obviously, the first one is a centralization. Okay, a data repository centralizes the data storage in the single location, which makes easier to manage and access. Okay, data organization is another characteristics. So data repositories organize the data in the structure format. Again, it is very easy for retrieve and analyze the data, right? Then data management. So it's equipped with the tools and the capabilities to manage the data through its life cycle, like how to how to inject the data or secure the data, security, how I'm going to provide backup, the recovery, archiving, everything. Then comes the scalability. Okay, data repositories are designed to handle the large volume of the data and can scale as needed to accommodate the growth in the data size or the number of users. Okay, and finally comes, it's called as a accessibility. So data repositories provides a
Ma'am, can
various
you repeat the scalability?
scalability is nothing but देखो, right now in my for my organization, suppose I'm creating the data. So right now I, whatever as per my data size, I required say 50 GB, suppose 50 GB. But later on, suppose मेरा company बढ़ गया, तो मेरा repository उतना होना चाहिए ना, so that it can accommodate the growth as well. So that is called as a scalability, number of size or number of users. So मेरे users बढ़ गए, data बढ़ गया, या मेरा data का size ही बढ़ गया, so my data repository should be scalable. It should accommodate such kind of a data. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So just write down, all of you, all these characteristics of the data repository, just the pointers: centralize, data organization, data management, scalability, and accessibility. Write down, all of you.
Ma'am, Hira is in waiting room.
Let it be. Who is in waiting room?
Hira.
Acha, she told me. Yes. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
in centralization characteristic, there is written help organization reduce data silos. What is the term data silos?
Silas is nothing but what we can say is actually it can be what, how I can explain this. Let me just tell you. Uh, See, when you have a centralized data, okay, so it is very easy for you to, that the data is not distributed among the different things, right? So it is into the one place, and it is very easy for you to manage it also. There is not much complexity in terms of that, right? I'll give you more meaningful explanation for this. Just give me a minute. So though it is centralized, even what we can say, you don't have the different things through which you need to access the data. So it is at one data, reduce the data silos, it is going to, isolation is basically getting reduced. So data is not separated totally. So isolation is basically reduced over here. Clear?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, data isolation is reduced. Yes.
Ma'am, can we take it as data held by other department not easily accessible to different other
Yes,
departments?
yes. That can also be the one point to this. Yes. Once written all the characteristics, let me know.
Done, ma'am.
Done, everyone? So centralization, data organization, data management, scalability, and finally there is a accessibility. Correct? Okay. Can I go to the next point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what are the different types of repositories? The first one is called as a data warehouse. A warehouse. You know what is the definition of the warehouse. So data warehouse is a large centralized repository designed especially for the query and analysis purpose. A huge centralized repository. Okay, it is basically used for business intelligence, reporting, and data analysis. And like normally they have a read operations, not much of the write operations. क्योंकि जितनी बार लिखोगे उतना अपडेट करना पड़ेगा एंड सिंस इट इज ह्यूज वो अपडेशन का टाइम भी बहुत ज्यादा लेगा. सो नॉर्मली रीड ओनली ऑपरेशंस आर मोर. Large volume of historical data is normally stored in the warehouse and typically supports the online analytical processing, OLAP. We say online analytical processing, right? So one is the warehouse. So when you will actually go into the as I told you, next generation databases, therein a complete unit is there on the data warehouse. The next centralized types of depository is called as a data marts. What is a data mart? Okay, it is a smaller and more focused version of the warehouse. So finance के लिए एक data mart रहेगा, marketing के लिए एक data mart रहेगा, sales का data एक data mart में रहेगा. So for every specific business unit, you have the different data marts. तो what is the advantage of this is, in suppose मेरा जो query है और मुझे जो analysis करना है, if it is only related to the marketing, why to search into the complete warehouse? Can I search into the marketing data mart? Am I right? Agree to this? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
कंपनी का पूरा डेटा सर्च करने से अगर मैं मार्केटिंग का ही डेटा सर्च करूंगी या रिट्राइव करूंगी, दैट इज मोर टाइम, व्हाट वी कैन से, इट विल अवॉइड द time delays or time consuming, will not be a more time consuming process. Okay, so data mart, so specific to a particular business unit. Okay, and provides a department wise specific views and the insights, and easier to implement and maintain than the complete full data warehouse. So just write down types of data repositories, all of you. Types of data repositories. Types of data repositories. First one, data warehouse. Second one, data mart. Third one, data lake. Data lake. So data lake is a centralized repository again that stores the raw and unprocessed data. Okay, in its native format. Okay, it can be a structured, semi-structured or unstructured data. And what is the purpose? To store the large volume of data for a wide range of the users, from machine learning to data mining to the real analytics. Okay, so data lakes are like, data marts are processed data, whereas the data lakes are the unprocessed data. And then the fourth type comes is a data lake house also. So again, it is an emerging data architecture that combines the features of both data lakes and the data warehouse. So which allows the storage of structured, unstructured data while providing the data management, data governance and platform capabilities similar like data warehouse. So it is a, capabilities will be like a warehouse, but the data storage will be like a data lakes. Unprocessed, semi-structured, structured, entire type of the data will get stored over there. Okay, are you with me so far, everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Have you written this? Data lake and data lake house, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So types of repository में पहले आता है data warehouse, फिर आता है data marts, third आता है data lakes, fourth आता है data lake house. The fifth one is called as a operational data stores, ODS. Again, it is a data repository used for operational reporting. Okay, typical operational reporting. Like for routine operation जो reporting आपके होते हैं, supports के related या daily business के जो operations है, वो report, वो data, that data is basically getting stored over here. So what you required a very updated data over here, because continuously some operations are going on, our transactions are going on, and that data should be very much updated data. Okay. And finally comes the NoSQL databases. So the data that you cannot handle with the SQL, or data which is not stored in a structured format, totally unstructured data like key value pair, columnar family storage, or graph databases. All these databases are called as a NoSQL databases. And as I've told you, you have a third semester, you have a subject only that is called as a next generation databases, NoSQL databases. Okay, because remember one thing, nowadays in today's world, 80 to 85% data which is getting generated every day is totally unstructured data, and hardly 20% data is a structured data. So obviously you required a types of repositories which can store this unstructured data, and such type of a storage is called as a NoSQL databases. Like in terms of the key value, like JSON or columnar databases or graph databases or n number of databases which are comes into the NoSQL database family. So have you written all of you this part? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Now, since these are the types of repositories, let's try to understand what are the functions of the data repositories. ये क्या करेगा data repositories? So the very first function is to store the data. Correct? Agree, everyone? Yes?
Yes.
Then the next function is to data integration. Since it is a repository, so take the data from the multiple sources, maybe spreadsheet or websites or whatever it is, and do the proper integration so that as a user, I'm going to get a unified view of my data. So that is called as a data integration. So this will also be done by the data repositories. Then comes a data management. What do you mean by data management? The quality of the data, or maybe data cleansing, data validation, metadata management, everything will be done by the repository, data management. Obviously, we need to provide the data security as well. So access control mechanisms, unauthorized access need to be maintained, any breaches to the security threads or maybe threads.
Ma'am, can you repeat the data integration again?
Integration is nothing but if when you are taking the data from the multiple sources and you are storing it into the one, जैसे एक डेटा आपने लिया डेटाबेस से, एक लिया आपने स्प्रेडशीट से, एक लिया आपने वेब सर्विसेज से, whatever it is, so all of them have the different file formats and everything. So when you are integrating that into a one repository, as a user I cannot see कि ये different formats में है. As a user I should get a unified view of that, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that is a data integration. Data management is complete management of the data. Data security is providing a proper authorized access to each and every data. You need to handle the security breaches and the threats. You need to include the encryption, user access control, and auditing of your data. Then what if my data gets corrupted or data is gone? So there should be some data backup and the recoveries. Okay, so that can be is another function of the data repository. And finally, data retrieving and the query. सो डेटा स्टोर कर रहे हो, डेटा इंटीग्रेट कर रहे हो, डेटा मैनेज कर रहे हो, डेटा बैकअप सिक्योरिटी दे रहे हो, रिकवरी दे रहे हो, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली आई शुड बी एबल टू रिट्राइव एंड क्वेरी द डेटा ना. So that is again the function of the data repository. Okay, so all of you just note down the functions of the data repository. I'm waiting. Functions of the data repository, just write it down, all of you.
Done, ma'am.
I'm waiting for everyone to give me this.
Done, ma'am.
Everyone done? Okay, so let's try to understand, since like we have already seen key what is a data repository, what are the characteristics of the data repository, types of data repository, the functions of the data repository, and finally now we are moving to the benefits of the data repository, like improve the data accessibility or enhance the data quality, scalability, data security, and cost efficiency. So already we have discussed this. So just all of you write down benefits of data repositories. Benefits of data repositories. First one, improve data accessibility. Improved data accessibility. Then enhance data quality. Enhance data quality. Then scalability. Scalability. Then data security. Data security. And finally, cost efficiency. And finally, cost efficiency. Cost efficiency. Done?
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
1 minute, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Good. So this is just an overview and the diagram I have given, like how the data warehouse is. So you have a structured data, and this data gets stored over here from different file formats or whatever it is, and it can be used for analysis, report, and visualization. When you talk about the data lakes, explanation is given, like raw data is there and that gets stored into the data lakes, unstructured, totally unstructured data. When you talk about the data marts, you have the warehouse, and from warehouse you have the like engineering का एक अलग से data mart बनेगा, sales का अलग से data mart, finance का अलग से data mart बनेगा. There is also called as a delta lakes also, like you have a raw data and that gets stored over here in the delta lakes. Then data pipeline is there, how basically it goes, like data and some complete pre-processing. And there is a data mesh is also there, like finance का एक data है, sales का है, engineering का है, operations का है, and on the top of that there is a data governance is there. So all these are the basically the different terminologies we use in case of the data repositories. So no need to write down. I'm going to give you this. So let's try to understand what are the use cases. So when you talk about the database, okay, which is used to capture the transactional data from primary data sources, and database also always holds a current data only and captures the fundamental daily operations, whereas warehouse is always about the summarized data, and it also has a current as well as a historical data and provides some insights so that you can take the business decision. If you talk about the difference between the warehouse and data mart, so warehouse is a complete data, okay, which is a normalized data, whereas the data marts are for the special, what we can say, the units, business units, okay, so that you can retrieve the data in a faster and more effective way. Talking about the data mart versus data lakes. Data mart, as I have told you, it is a structured data, filtered data, normalized data for a specific business unit. But data lakes contains the raw and unfiltered data from the enterprise. Okay. Coming to the warehouse and the lake, okay, which we have already discussed, I think so. Okay, so there are n number of what we can say the difference I have given over here. Data warehouse, data. Okay, so some of the tools I have mentioned over here. So like when you are talking about the data warehouse, okay, so which are the data warehouses? Amazon Redshift is a data warehouse. Google BigQuery is a data warehouse. Snowflake is a data warehouse. Amazon Azure Synapse Analytics is a warehouse. Oracle Exadata is a warehouse. Where again IBM DB2 is a data warehouse. So these are the different data warehouses. Talking about the data marts, क्या software है? SAP BW4 HANA is a data mart. Microsoft SQL Server is a data mart. IBM Cognos is a data mart. Teradata is a data mart. No need to write it down. I'm going to give you this immediately after the session. Talking about the data lakes, Apache Hadoop, Amazon S3, Microsoft Azure Data Lake Storage, Google Cloud Storage, okay, Databricks. All these are basically the different data lakes which stores the totally raw and unstructured data. So obviously there are some ETL and data pipeline tools are also there, like extract, transform, and the load. Like you have a Apache Nifi is there. There is a Talend is there. Okay, Apache Kafka is there. Okay, so there are n number of ETL tools available. Okay, so some of the important links also I have mentioned in the PPT over here. Okay, so coming to the entire gist of what we have done in this complete unit. Okay, this was a totally theoretical unit, so I just recap it what we have done. So first we have understood what is the analysis and analytics, the difference between that. Are you with me so far? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then what we have seen in the last session, tell me all of you. डिफरेंस सीखा हम लोग ने, फिर क्या सीखा हम लोग ने? Role of the data analyst we have seen, right? What are the skills required by the data analyst? What is the process of the data analytics? And what are the different types of data analytics? In today's okay, yesterday we have also seen the different types of data as well. Then we have seen what is the complete data analytics process. Then different file formats. The file formats normally used for the data analysis. Then we have seen what are the different types of data sources. There are 4 different types of data sources we have seen. Once we have seen the data sources, then we have seen what is the data repository. What are the characteristics of the data repository, types of data repositories, functions of the data repositories, and the benefits. And then which are the different, what we can say, the data warehouses platforms, data marts platform, data lakes platforms, and so on. Okay, so obviously you don't need to remember these platforms and everything. This is just for your information. Correct, everyone? Are you with me so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Now what I'm going to do is, with the Hira, I'm going to share this PPT right away after the session. I want all of you to go through this, because next Saturday, before we start with the session, I'm going to take a 20 marks of quiz on this unit. Will that be okay to you all?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Good, good. So Mayur or Hira, have you taken the attendance?
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Done the attendance? Okay, good. So Hira, I'll share with you. You share it on the Google Classroom, right?
मैम अटेंडेंस कहाँ पे लगता है? कल का मेरा अटेंडेंस नहीं लगा है.
That you ask with Mayur or Hira, how they are managing the attendance. That I don't know.
रिप्लाई करते ही नहीं बरोबर.
Mayur, have you taken their attendance?
मैम अटेंडेंस का स्क्रीनशॉट लिया जाता है.
मैं इनको 1000 बार रिप्लाई कर चुकी हूँ. दैट्स नॉट ट्रू. और मैं पर्सनली लिंक्स भी